Oh, I guess I'm gonna go with an expo marker.
Look at you on the screen.
Gorge.
Oh my God. We don't have any. Yeah, no kidding.
So mine's already live on here.
Yeah, but don't let people in yet.
Don't let them in yet? Why?
What?
It's 10:56.
Well, I just have to set up the second camera and.
Yeah, but that's fine. I need to admit them in. I'll just stand here and do it. Can they hear me though? Because I can't see. So I'm sharing.
I just hear your screen.
All right, so, oh, we just have to do that one. All right, good morning. I can't see myself on here, so that's interesting, but we are gonna get started today. Thank you for being patient with technology. I was just saying to the agents that are here in the office, I'm over Zoom. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm kind of over the Zoom. Would like to see more of you back into the office. And I think we're going to do a natural progression where we start having shareholder meetings back here, and maybe we record them, but I don't think it's going to be more of a Zoom participation anymore. And we'll slowly maybe do the next 60 days. So the next 2 months, we'll continue to do this, and then we'll probably stop. And we encourage you to come into the office. And if you don't, then we encourage you to maybe watch the recordings. That being said, technology is new every day. So there's Zoom updates every day. Your Mac has an update every day. Your phone has an update every day. And I didn't get hired for tech, neither did Jillian and Ashley. So that being said, we are going to start off immediately today. At our last shareholder meeting, we were talking about appraisals. And Jason Linscott was mentioning that a lot of the lenders now have gone ahead, and starting May 1st, a lot of their appraisals are now doing in-house appraising. So it won't just be a quick drive-by beep beep. House looks great for $850, sure. And it's going to be a different process. So I do have my friend Scott Harden on here. So Scott, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Very good, actually. It's a beautiful day.
Thank you for joining us today. So I've known Scott since the Beverly Market Center days. And he does throw a really mean Cinco de Mayo. He does have a really great one in one of the Cumming centers in Woburn with a few other people. But he has the company, The Appraiser Guy, and I figured why not start our shareholder meeting with just a little bit about what you're seeing in the market, how it's changing, how it's changed, and maybe a little information about what we can look forward to moving forward. We're just going to take about 10 minutes and talk to both James and Scott. And then after that, we are going to be having a follow-up workshop with both of them in June. So stay tuned for that date. And go ahead and let's talk, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Time. It's always great to be able to connect with other people and, in the industry and agents specifically, just to kind of help assist in keeping us all on the same page and foresee some issues on the horizon and maybe be able to assist in getting around those issues. For the most part, I think, no shock, everyone, we're seeing stuff going over asking, over list price, a lot of new watermarks being set in the markets that we're appraising in. To give you a quick snapshot of where we are appraising, I've been doing it for 18 years. We covered in our highest peak, we covered the state of Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts. After the implosion of the real estate market, we got out of Maine and Connecticut and focused in only on New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So we've been doing it for quite a while and seeing a few of the rides in the real estate market in our area. That being said, I specifically, along with James, were co-owners of The Appraiser Guy, and James has been with us for 6 years. And we specifically, even as owners, go out and do a lot of the appraising in our area. So we are in the market that most likely you're in, which would be Essex, Middlesex, Worcester, Suffolk, even Norfolk and Bristol, and we even cover Plymouth. So we're usually the appraisers that are covering those territories. We've been doing it for a while, but we also are just seeing recently the quick snapshot I think that we're seeing in the market is, what do we do when we're setting new watermarks? I think James can speak a little bit more on what he's seen in maybe more of the rural areas that maybe don't command the higher values, like around the 495 or outside of the 495 loop. What are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing just crazy bidding, like crazy over list price, crazy offers that are going. It doesn't seem to be a differentiation between 495 inside and outside anymore. It seems like anywhere we're setting records in those places. So it's difficult in the rural areas. We can go out farther, but it's still very difficult to justify a lot of those values, and we don't like to be the bad guy, but it's hard if there's sales not supporting that value that are there.
So I think the biggest thing that we all want to do is figure out, what do the appraisers do when we can't find comps? What do you do when you know that there's going to be an issue, potential issue with value at appraising? A lot of times we're hoping for a buyer to have the ability to come to cash with closing if needed. But we've seen it before, like there has to be somebody to set the high mark, right? In order to use that comp in the future. That's where we need to be a little bit, more creative. The harder part is when the market literally is showing almost hat hanger is what we call it in the industry, a hat hanger comp, meaning it's almost exactly the same as the subject, but it sells lower.
Let me share anything without you guys hearing it today.
If what do we do in that situation? I think that's the hardest thing that all of us in this industry face, is if we have a hat hanger, how do we justify it coming in 20,000 over that price? And I think that's kind of where we're getting our point that we get stuck in, and we've been here before. So I just think it takes a little bit of working together. My suggestion always is to agents is like we're in this too. Most appraisers in our industry are not looking to kill deals. We understand that we are one spoke in the wheel of every transaction. So I think that my advice would be kind of, be willing to work with the appraiser, connect on the human capacity with the appraiser. Don't necessarily take a strong stance, because that just creates a defensive response that, in my opinion, and with other conversations with appraisers, they just basically say, well, you're not going to tell me how to value a property. You're not going to tell me, what do you know about value? It kind of gets into this whole, defensive argument that's not really beneficial for anybody in the process. But that's kind of where we're seeing it right now. I think, I currently am also doing some projects in development, and I was in the same situation as a developer. In Newton, we did a new construction build in a neighborhood that we weren't sure if it was going to support the value. It was certainly setting the high watermark by over 500,000 for the neighborhood, and lo and behold, it ended up being able to be done and meeting the purchase price. But like, I get it, it's a lot and it's really stressful, and but I always want to offer the other thing that we offer for you guys is, if you get into a bind and you're not 100% sure how to handle it, reach out to us. Like, we can give you the ammo that would be most likely helpful to get the transaction done. And we'll be honest with you too. We'll say, look, this one's not gonna, there's no support for this. There's nothing that we can do to give you anything that would help support the cause of this transaction. Best case scenario is you convince the buyer to come to cash with closing, because there's just no comps that will support it. It doesn't often happen that way, but sometimes it does. Specifically, it happens in condo projects, any sort of condominium where you have a lot of the condo units that are exactly the same or very, very slight differences. It's hard to come in $20,000 over the highest sale in that condo project when you've got hat hanger comps in the project that are saying the value is worth, X. Is that assistant? Does that help you guys? Or do you have any other further questions?
Yeah, we have a question here from John Marin.
Do additional over asking offers help with regular?
So
we
do
get-
it,
Yeah.
okay, you heard it.
Yeah, so we get that quite often, right? The agent will meet us at the property and say, hey, I've had 8 offers on this property. 6 of the 8 offers were over asking. And all of that, like for us is, it's great and we understand it. But the problem for us is that we have to have tangible evidence, not like hypothetical. An offer is just considered in our realm a hypothetical. It doesn't have any weight that we can put into the appraisal. They don't categorize that as being a weighted support for market value. The only thing that our industry will prove as support is closed sales. They don't actually even consider listings under agreement or listings as support. It's just showing what the current snapshot is of a current valuation in the market, but lenders and underwriters don't actually consider those to be weighted in the valuation of the property. It's your closed sales that matter the most.
Hi, Scott. This is Deborah Higgins. Quick question for you. The condos in the town where I live are taking a jump up by, they've jumped up by about $50,000. So, for example, in one particular condo complex, prior to the last few months, the highest sale was $355. And again, these are all cookie cutter. We had condos come on over the last month. All 3 condos went for over 400. So the 3 of us as listing agents are all sort of struggling with, unfortunately, I'm going to be the first one to close. So we're all struggling with how do we support this value. If we look to other similar condo complexes, they have also broken the 400 barrier, because I think a lot of buyers that were in the market that were looking at single families are now getting priced out. So now that's creating a lot more demand for these condos. And as a result, they're going way up. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you can do is first we have to pinpoint when did the market truly take off. It's been like, for example, we're opening up an office in Florida on the East Coast. And so I've been reviewing Palm Beach County real estate and Martin County real estate for the last 2 years to really understand what's going on in the market. And I can pinpoint an exact time when the prices jumped up, like almost $100,000 overnight. And that was in November. It literally went, it seemed like in a snap, it went $100,000 to $150,000 instantly across the board on everybody. In like, it was amazing what was happening. All of New York is buying sight unseen. They're doing Zoom call, inspections, and they're buying everything up. So that was what was pinpointing that increase. So then we can look back and say, okay, well, October sales and beyond, those should get a time adjustment, right? That warrants a time adjustment for what occurred in the market. Here in Massachusetts, I don't know. I was talking with James a little bit about like what his opinion is on when did we see, if we did even see any sort of a spike that we can go back and say it's a time adjustment, or can we calculate supportable calculations saying that, overall in the last 12 months, we've had, a 3% increase, a 5% increase. If we can prove that, then that's evidence. And so that would help you. That might enable you or the appraiser to go into a different condo project, right? Let's say your condo project has 50 units, and in the last year, 10 of them sold, but 8 of the 10 were, between the 12-month to 6-month period, and only 4 of them are within the last 6 months. That might allow us to tap into a different condo project to show more current market value, and then support the time adjustments. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the problem is that it seems to have occurred basically 6 to 8 weeks ago. So everything jumped up literally almost 20% 6 to 8 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
it was, went from 330s to 350s over the last year or so, then jumped over 400 in the sales that occurred within the last 2 months.
Yeah, so in that situation, these are the hardest ones. These first ones that are trying to close at a higher value, typically we end up really needing to have someone with cash to close to make up the difference. If we bring in if the value of the appraisal comes in at 375, and they're coming in at 400, does somebody have the ability to set the watermark by putting the 25,000 down, in addition to their loan amount?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's 50,000. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all three of us. So it's,
I'd be more than happy. You can have Jamie will give you my information. You can send me an email on it, and I can do a little digging to see if I can find anything. Private sales also, MLS is great with the public records under tools, where you can access not just stuff that's being sold on MLS, but you can access all sales.
mhm.
A lot of times I'll find in situations like this, we are looking at all sales to try and make sure that we've scoured everything to pull in support. But that's kind of where we are. We're just really, looking under every single stone, trying to find something.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Jamie,
yeah.
can you hear me? Jen, I have a question for them.
Yep.
Do you guys also do the FHA appraisals?
Yep.
So I have a buyer who has been in more multi-bids than I care to count. And it seems like always the FHAs are the first one that's thrown out because people don't want to go through that appraisal process. But she did just go under agreement. Is there anything, that aside from peeling paint and handrails and things like that, that she has to be concerned about?
Yeah. So if you Google FHA appraiser checklist, you'll find that there's a checklist of the very things that we're looking for. It's very helpful for you as agents to have that in your toolbox, because then you really know, like, okay, we have to have this property prepped for this. And most of them are pretty minor stuff. FHA is not necessarily too strict, and we're in an area where most people take care and maintain their houses very well. It's more of the rule settings that we find that we have properties that are just not FHA compliant, and they need a lot of work in order to get to that point. But that's what I would do. I mean, you're looking, rip screens is one thing that I don't even know why it's on there, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But that's one of the things that they have. The peeling paint, as you know, is one of the portions. Any sort of major foundation issues would be, a big concern. We did one in, it was an FHA multifamily, and, the seller had a basement unit that wasn't accessible through any of the units. It was only accessible outside through a door. And
So I can't mute anybody.
oh, sorry, it was not FHA compliant. And so, for them, that was a little bit bigger of an issue. Like, depending on the underwriter and what they felt comfortable with, we had to remove the stove. We had to, not give credit or value for it because it wasn't attached to one of the units specifically. But those are some of the other things that I'm doing one in Danvers. Here's another example. There's a single family. It's listed as a single family, and it has a detached unit. It's got an attached unit, but it's not accessible. So it's not an accessory dwelling unit or an in-law. And it's a single family, but it has its own second unit. And so it's in a zone that there are multifamilies, but it's not zone multifamily. And so the underwriter came back to me and said, hey, what do you want to do with this? What's the highest and best use of this property? And we have to go by basically what is the easiest, path of least resistance, right? Just like water, the path of least resistance would be to remove this kitchen, to open up the wall so that there's accessibility to that second unit, and then make it all one unit. And that was what we ended up having to do. And so the appraisal was written subject to that happening.
So would we get a chance, so the lender suggested just going ahead and scraping and painting the garage door that it's obvious that it needs to be done. Would we be better off going ahead and doing some of the stuff ahead of time? Because the buyer has said that they'll put some in, address that in particular before the appraiser comes out, or wait until we get a checklist from the appraiser as to what truly has to be done to pass?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know if I would, it depends on your closing date, right? And how much the other condition of the property. In a situation like that with the garage door, there's times where the appraiser might be lenient and be like, it's not really part of the main attached dwelling, sometimes it's the fence even, if there's peeling paint on the fence, we're supposed to, claim that there's peeling paint on the fence. So it really depends on the appraiser and what the closing date is and what the buyer's expectations are. So I would really kind of leave that. It could go either way.
Yeah, but it is okay just to wait for a checklist and then address it. I know forget about the closing date.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead for everybody and find one of those checklists and put them up into the library that we're gonna talk about again for you guys so that you can have quick access to it. And then maybe if you guys have any other questions, we can kind of compose them. And when Scott comes in June to do one of the trainings, then we'll have a lot of Q&As then that are specifically related to everyone's property. But I really appreciate both of your time today. And we'll obviously change your slide, which I can't change right now on the computer. I'm going to try in a second, but we'll put your contact information for both of you and your email before we send out the slides today, so that all agents will have access to your information.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to switch the slide. Hopefully they can hear me and I can hear everybody else. Now the video's on there. So good morning, Mitchell. I don't know if we're gonna have slides today. Let's see.
There we go.
Oh, was it you? Did you not have yourself on mute?
I did have myself on mute just now.
No, it's just the television.
Oh,
So let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm not sure if it's the TV. Mitchell, give me 1 second.
I will.
I'm gonna shut the TV off. I'm gonna shut it off. And then in terms of volume, and I'm just gonna put the volume on the laptop so people can hear. Okay, go ahead, Mitchell. Sorry about that. We're having
No problem.
technical difficulties today.
That happens. For any of us over 30, that happens.
Yeah. Thanks,
There we go.
Mitchell.
Well, just a real quick thing. We had a very spirited meeting
Ooh,
yesterday.
look at all
Lisa
this.
and I
This is nice
in
today.
the office, and we talked.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know what we're gonna do. You know what? Maybe you could just, oh, God. Notice he's not even moving during all of this. You just hit. I know. It would just be nice in like an ideal world if I could just stand up here and do my job and just have the meeting and leave, and then I had somebody to do all that. In an ideal world, Brian, but I'm that person, so it's not my ideal world yet.
Hold on, we're still on the TV, so hold on.
So Mitchell, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
That's
so
as loud as the volume goes.
I'll let you go ahead and just speak with the agents while we're trying to figure out the volume here.
Okay, no problem. We
Okay,
had a very spirited lunch and learn yesterday in the office. and the topic was purchase and sale agreements. And because what we wanted to reinforce is the importance of you folks, if you're asked to review the purchase and sale agreement and what you should be looking for. We're not asking you, and we don't want you to go through the specifics of the legalese. That's our job. But there are certain things we need you to make sure are accurate. Names, dates, most importantly, inclusions and exclusions. That seems to be the sticking point on a lot of these things. It would be great if you're the listing agent to prepare and have executed an inclusion exclusion sheet, which we would simply attach to the purchase and sale agreement. That helps us a lot so we don't have to go guessing on things. Also, it's in the interest of the client if things like an inclusions, exclusions get worked out between the agents. Why do I say that? Well, if the lawyers are doing it, all we're doing is sending to you what was sent to us, and it takes a little bit longer, can take quite a bit longer, and we make mistakes because we're not the direct parties to the conversation. So that's one thing we'll ask you guys to do what you can to help us with that. And that's pretty much it. Again, I want to encourage everybody to attend our meetings every month. It does not matter how experienced you are, because I think we provide a detail that works for newcomers and works for agents who've been doing this for a long time. So our next one will be in June, and we'll get back to you with date and topics. All right, Jamie, have I gone long enough now?
No, you were great. You were great. And the fair housing that we discussed too, obviously the Northeast Association of Realtors is highlighting that. And, a lot of this, I know that Jen just spoke about FHA. And if you really want to get technical, you don't know what's happening on the other side of the list agent taking these offers. We hope that they're following the code of ethics and professional standards that we all have. But if they aren't, and we're talking about FHA, this still falls under these code of ethics and fair housing situations. And a lot of these are happening lately. So I really encourage you, once we get that on the calendar about fair housing, you're responsible for getting 12 CEUs a year. You're also responsible for doing code of ethics every 3 years. Fair housing is definitely one that we're going to be pushing in the market center as well. So, and yesterday's purchase and sale, we recorded it. And so that will be up in the all agent access drive that we talk about, which seems foreign to many of you because you don't know where to find it. So we're going to help you with that today again. And
Jamie,
so
you
guys can watch the recording.
Jamie, you're going to include the handout that we also gave out yesterday? Yeah,
Yep.
that lays
That will
out.
be attached. See,
Great.
this is the thing, Mitchell. If everybody came to these classes, they would get those handouts, right?
I understand how that works, Jamie.
Yeah, right. So do I want to put the handouts in? I don't know. No, I'll put them in and everybody will have access to it. So thank you so much, Mitchell.
My pleasure.
All right. So I'm just gonna keep it here in this view mode, everybody, because technology, I'm not sure what's happening today, but it's definitely not on my side. So Jasper, I know that you're on the call as well. I know you wanted to say something.
Trying to unmute myself.
Hey, buddy, it's 2021.
I'm unmuted. I did it myself.
Yay.
I can't see any of you, but we're here. No, thanks for having me. I always like to introduce myself. My name's Jasper, and I am happy to help or answer any insurance questions that anybody has. And one thing I wanted to touch on today, as we continue to quote home insurance policies, whether they're from the office or touch the office or not, oftentimes I see policies come through with limited liability coverage or low liability coverage, and that's usually a pretty good red flag from an insurance perspective, especially because if you're buying a house, a couple of things have to line up for that to happen. One, you have to have fairly decent income. Two, you now have an asset that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so the liability component of your home insurance policy is what's going to protect you if something happens, whether it's somebody slips, trips, and falls at your property and gets hurt. But what happens if you post on Facebook and somebody takes incredible offense to it and now they want to sue you for some sort of slander or defamation? And so it's really important from an insurance standpoint to have expanded liability coverage so that things like a Facebook post would be covered under your liability on your home insurance policy. Because if somebody tries to sue you, they're not suing you, your bank account personally, they're suing your insurance. And if you have low liability and somebody tries to sue you, your attorney's fees are going to get taken out of the liability, and any judgment settlement against you is going to get taken out of the liability. And so if you have a low liability limit, that's going to get exhausted very quickly. And then all of a sudden your house, your income is going to be on the line. And so it's important to increase the liability limit. And from a cost standpoint, the difference between having, say, $100,000 of liability and $1 million of liability is less than $50 per year. So it just kind of makes sense for homeowners, for people with good income and everything that lines up for, to have a little bit higher liability limit so that they're protected against everything, not just slip, trip, and falls or someone accidentally falling in their pool. Does that make sense?
Why'd you have to mention the pool, Jasper?
I
was just about to talk about that. But seriously, think about this. No, think about the fact that we're having a conversation about adding $50 a year to our insurance policy in case you're that person that likes to put something on social media that somebody takes offense to and wants to take you to court for it. It's just that one for me today. You definitely get you get the sticker for the winner of that is crazy.
But that's expanded coverage.
Right, but if it's only $50,
expanded so that your post, if they're a little edgy or something, so you have to just expand the coverage a little bit so that it covers that. At a minimum, it's not going to cover that, and it's about $2 a year for that.
Yeah, no, listen, I love what you said, and I'm just laughing. We do have an agent here that I wasn't going to call out, but she called herself out and said, you know, she likes to post a lot. So she might be talking to you, Jasper, about that potential switching over.
Yeah, you better ensure you have personal injury liability.
Seriously. Also, I also want to let you guys know, just to reel it back in here, Jasper, thank you for that information. And
you're very welcome.
Please don't up my plan $50. I try to stay away from
You already paid for it, James. Don't worry about it.
But Jasper and I were having a conversation about PPP money. And some of you have re-asked the question, am I still eligible? Can I apply? Yes, you can still apply. Yes, you're still eligible. And there are agents here in our office who applied last week and received 7 days later PPP money. And there are stipulations and regulations to if you qualify or not. One of the companies that's been brought to our attention that I'm in talks with is A10 Capital. And so A10capital.com, they have a process, and I'm hoping that if it makes sense for us, we can create a Keller Williams portal that agents can just go right to the KW portal. And if you meet the criteria, then you can go ahead. There's no cost to you. You read through everything that's there and you go ahead and apply. We do know that you had to have sold. So here's the key, guys. You actually had to have sold something to receive money. That's how the government works. Like you have to pay in to kind of get it, receive it. But in 2019, you had to be in real estate and you had to have at least sold. So I do know that that is one that was just discussed. And there are a couple other little pieces of the criteria measurements. So if this is you and we're talking to you in here or on the call and you're interested in it, you can immediately go to the A10capital.com And if you just wait a week, we're gonna talk to them about creating a Keller Williams portal that's easily accessible. You set up a profile page, you submit some information, and they tell you whether or not you qualify. So Jasper, thank you for that information. So we are going to continue here. Mr. Mark Mulcahy, thank you for going back to your office today here at the Andover Market Center, so that since we're having technology glitches, for you to be on the call and speak. So what's going on?
First off, on my earlier Zoom calls, people have asked if I was at Walpole, so I am not in a jail cell. There's just no artwork behind my head. First off, I was reading yesterday, we are still at, for a healthy market, we typically have 6 to 7 months inventory. And for single family homes, condos, and multifamilies, we are below 1 month's inventory. We're roughly on average 0.8 months inventory, which is crazy that we just don't have the inventory. So that being said, I always want to tell you guys what you're doing, and it helps me be accountable to the numbers. And we had a former agent of ours that was calling some of you and telling you that we were down 45 agents year to date, and our numbers are off and our profit share's off. So I just want to report some of the basic numbers that we look at. We look at so many numbers every single month to tell where we are and what we need to gauge on in education. But your GCI is up 8.6%. What does that mean? It means that you all are making about 8.6% more than you did last year at this time through April. Our company dollar is up 16.2%. What does that mean? That means that after all the money that we take in, we then pay all of you, and we're retaining 16.2% more than we did last year. So that's a good thing. Our expenses are down 2%, and compared to last year where we had a lot of expenses where we're down. So to still be down 2% is an unbelievable thing. And your profit share, which is one of the numbers that I'm most proud of, is up 79% year to date. So the office is extremely healthy. I know we're a third of the year through. And the last thing I want to comment on is this. These are numbers that we have to know in order to run this market center so that you can get a profit share return. Ultimately, our goal here is for all of you to earn more money in profit share than the $24,000 cap. That would make it an unbelievable company for all of you if you paid in less than you got paid back in profit share. But if you're not running, if we're not running a P&L every single month with Jillian and Jamie, then we're dropping the ball on you. And the same token goes for all of you. If any of you want to know how to run a basic P&L, if your accountant's not doing it, or if your QuickBooks, if you're doing it through there, that's great. But if you want help with running a P&L for your business so that you can know your income versus your expenses versus your profit, email me and let me know, and I'll send you a basic chart that you can use and enter your numbers in. We're doing a disservice for you if we're not running these numbers monthly for the business, and you're doing a disservice to you if you're not running your numbers monthly. That's it.
And I think that would be a good thing too for the finance committee, Steve and Jillian, who are sitting in here, to partner up with you in June, maybe at their next meeting, to print that document. And the reason why we run these committees, again, sometimes the fun committee is easily attended because all of you like to have fun. And so you want to know what the next entertainment is. And so there's 20 people on the call or 15 people on the call. There should be more on the finance committee, because you're not having fun if you're not making money unless it's being paid for you. And so, these basic pieces of knowledge are really important. And so if we could have that spreadsheet and talk about it, it is very true. And whether you've been doing it all along and you've been 20 years in the business, or you just started yesterday, just a basic sheet You know, it is scary. You're an independent contractor. And some people, if they only sell a couple of houses during the year, you know, and let's just say that their commissions were 5, and they're like, I made 15,000. I'm like, hey buddy, you didn't make 15,000. You actually have to pay taxes on that, which we should have been setting aside. And then in January, you're struggling for money. And that happens with people, by the way, not just with 3 sales, Mark will attest, that's with people with 80 sales. It's always going to be a tax problem, and it's never going to go away. So knowing your numbers, yes. And thank you, Mark, because the company is doing well. And to be 2% more when we were completely shut down in April last year, and all of us were like, kind of looked like where you were, in a jail cell in our homes and in our bedrooms, and we couldn't leave to go anywhere to take calls, and we saved 2%. Wow. And we were closed pretty much here in the office. So thank you, Mark. We're gonna hear from Susan for a few minutes here, and then we're gonna go into some important trainings and some information about the Market Center that all of you need to know in order to get paid on time. So here's Susan.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to share an observation. So probably what comes to my top of my mind is that what I've seen over the last couple of weeks is the importance. Communication, I know I've talked about it before, but it's showing up in 2 ways. I've seen some examples of amazing communication, both in my personal practice. We've had calls about some of you doing an amazing job communicating. And I've also had calls where people are ghosting other people. I've had complaints, I've had that. So I'm suggesting to you that as important as the next listing and the next under agreement is, put number 3 on there, communication, because it's probably assured to either make or break your next deal, okay? Whether it's the actual deal that you're working on or one that's down the road. So our communication, I just want to, shout out to, the half a dozen agents that I've gotten calls with, which is a privilege I have as the principal broker, to say how amazing I must feel to have these people on our roster because their communication was so good. So in contrast to some of the other calls, like a couple that I had this morning, that said, I need you to put a fire into this person because they haven't called me in 5 days. And I called their seller directly. I said, oh, okay. So that's it for me.
Yay. Don't be a ghost. Exactly. Like, communicate. Yeah. Oh, here you are. Yeah, we're all busy. No one's more busy than somebody else. Okay. You're only busy to what you're capable of being busy, and you're busy as you're busy, and Susan's busy as her busy. But it is true. I get calls too all the time. Okay. So there is a professionalism, and when somebody calls you, you call them back. If you have a problem with voicemail, please go to Google Voice. It's a free phone number. You still use your phone number. It gets redirected and you get a text message or an email when somebody leaves a voicemail message, and then your voicemail is never full. It's standards like that Susan's talking about. So kudos to all of you who actually follow that practice. We are going to talk with the ALC very quickly, and I'm going to tell you about some trainings that all of you have asked for, and thank you for your input as to what would bring you back into the office that you would like to see. One thing I want to remind you from the MCA department is that I'd like for you to maybe think of Jillian as a virtual transaction coordinator. If you really think about it, as soon as a command tab is opened, okay, so as soon as it's opened, it's kind of like an alarm that sets off in Jillian's office that says, like, beep, beep. It says Jamie Camerata is submitting that she has a potential closing June 30th on 123 Main Street, okay? It's the only way she's going to know that you have business. And as you get closer to the closing, it's your job, not hers, not mine. It's your job to communicate with your virtual assistant, let's call it Jillian, and say, send an email that says, Jillian, want to let you know, I know that it looks like 123 Main Street's going to close on Friday. but we pushed it to Wednesday. Okay, we pushed it earlier, we pushed it later. Commissions have changed. That's a big one. We really need you just to communicate all the time with Jillian when something's changing within your files so that we are up to date and can pay you on time. And this is a great problem to have, okay? I think the most maybe was 125, 129 that you closed in 1 month.
Probably.
So just think about 129 closings for you. Imagine if you had to do all of your, you know, follow up with purchase and sale, offer negotiations, all the steps that you have as a real estate agent. Imagine if you were closing 130 units on your own with no leverage. Just imagine that for a minute. Yeah, it seems like you wouldn't be. So the only way that she can do it is by taking that football from here to here to help close the transactions if you communicate, okay? So maybe we were critically trying to say, how can we talk to the agents about this? And it's experienced agents too. All right, I see some people sitting in here and I see some people on the call, and I'm talking to you as well. And I'm talking to new agents. You just got to communicate it with Jillian so that when she has 50 closings in a week, which is a great problem to have, we want to pay you on time, but we can't pay you at 4 o'clock on a Friday because your file's discombobulated. It's not going to happen. All right, so we have the ALC on here. And Jeffrey, I don't know if Jeffrey is on here, but I will go ahead and speak for him. They have worked on a really great Red Day video. As you know, we all gave our time last Thursday at the Lazarus House. We volunteered, and there are a couple of videos that are for promotion and then for just our Red Day. And so I did look at one of them, and I do look forward to sending them out to you guys. So I want to say thank you to Jeffrey. Growth Committee, he did a fantastic job. If you didn't have a chance, it's in that all agent access drive that we're going to talk about. These videos for his class on making phone calls and lead generating was fantastic. And so we're going to continue those each month because it's not just about growth of the market center and you working with an agent and them joining. All right, it's also with the growth of you as the individual because we want you to be successful just as well. So that would be from Jeffrey. Jen, is there Deb, Jen, Lori, anybody on the call for Fund Committee?
I'm here.
There she is.
We have the golf tournament coming up on Thursday. Tea time is at 3 at Atkinson. So if you signed up, be there on time. We'll get your information out this week. Also, we have our monthly meetings are the first Wednesday of every month at 12 o'clock in the office or on Zoom. If you'd like to join us, let me know and I'd be happy to add you in. And we are looking forward to a beach day coming up and a bike and brew and a scavenger hunt. So keep an eye out for those items and I look forward to seeing everybody Thursday.
Thank you,
and
Jen.
can I just say something? This
Yes,
Deb?
please.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that we will send out something so everybody knows their tea time and what their foursomes are by 1 o'clock.
Perfect.
For Thursday, okay?
Perfect. And then if anybody wants to join us afterwards for apps and drinks and you're not really a golfer, but you'd like to socialize, since it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow and we will have outdoor patio seating, please just give us a heads up so that we can add you to the party for afterwards. And Jen, I didn't just hear it. I know there are a few people here in the office heard it. Are you having a responsible drinking and then riding a bike event? That's
No, you ride a bike first and then you stop for a drink.
okay. I just wanted to clarify for those like myself who just wanted to know when that situation happens, first or after or during, I don't know. All right, thank you. Art Durkin.
Great, thank you guys. Sorry, I'm in an inspection. I just have a quick update to the technology committee. We're going to be meeting June 10th. It's the second Tuesday, I believe, of every month from 1 o'clock to 2. So looking forward to seeing you there. We do not have a tech committee augment staff, paid staff yet, but we're looking at options there, and the leadership is as well. So if you want to join us, please do, June 10th. Hope to see you then.
All right, thanks, Art. So I'm going to bring up Mr. Steve Fisickelli live in person right here to talk about the Finance Committee.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me this month. I heard no one could hear me last month, so it's kind of how I like it. But so I'm here. So Finance Committee, yeah, as Jamie said, not always exciting, but probably necessary to most businesses. So I would say very necessary to all businesses. So if you want to attend, next meeting is on June 7th. I think it's at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. With Jillian and I. Jillian does an amazing job. We can try to help you if someone has questions we got in budgeting or their finances or how to manage their business. Right now, look, I know everything is really, we're all running around, but I can speak for myself, say I'm doing a lot of running around, and making a transaction is not always the easiest with all the offers that are going in. So managing your budgets so that you can work month to month is generally very important. So we're happy to help anyone that, if you need that help, just please let us know in advance so we know you're going to be there. So again, it's on June 7th here in the office at 1 o'clock. Just a couple of things, and I'll see if I can see. My allergies are killing me, so my eyes aren't so good. But listings sold in April was 36. It was up 4 from the previous month. We were an upward trend since the beginning of the year, so that's a good thing. Our average sales price is going up about $70,000 to $541,000. So we're selling more expensive houses. I guess that's a good thing, and obviously inventory just keeps climbing price wise. That one. Closed units are at 73 this month, up again. So we pretty much maintaining. We're at 69 in January, 54 in February, then 67 and 73. So we're kind of staying around the same level. And listings taken was 65 in April, again up a couple and way up from January and February. So obviously spring market, more people are considering putting the houses on the market. So just make sure you get in front of people and you're getting the listings, because if you have listings, you have all the power. All right, take care.
We're going to talk about listings. So just speaking about listings, this is going to be something crazy, but I had a conversation with one of my girlfriends whose her last child is a junior at the North Andover High School this year. And so he's going to be a senior next year. And then what? So the other two are in college. She doesn't really want to retire in North Andover. It's not funny. She wants to go do something else. So we started having a conversation. I said, Jen, I probably right now might be a good time to sell. And you would just have to rent for a year, make sure that you still stay in the North Andover district to prove for him to be a senior. And then you can go wherever you want. And so we did a little comparative market analysis on our house, which I haven't done in a long time. So that was fun. And then once we realized how much should we be making, that property is going to be going on the market in the next couple of weeks. So I started thinking to myself, it was just a creative conversation. But those of you that have kids in the school systems, or you have seniors or nieces, nephews, anything like that, this is a great conversation for those that might have children. If you're in any of those Facebook groups or anything like that, to have a conversation about, hey, if the last child is out in the next year or two, and I don't have a crystal ball, but will they be getting the same money they are today in 2 years? I say probably not, because I back up with Gary, and Gary showed me this cute little chart about the 7 to 10 years, and we have to fall a little bit before we go back up. But now would be a great time. So as we're thinking about listings, and now I'm going to talk about some trainings that you have all asked for. And I'm going to go to this one right now. So there's an important training. If there's one training that your team leader can promote once a week, is Monday from 2 to 3. So our region right now, has mastermind with all the top agents. Okay, one of them is Jeff Matea. Jeff Matea took the challenge. He's out of Maine. I'm going to have him as a guest speaker for a mastermind event, inviting all the agents. And he listed 90 properties in 90 days. And that was his mission. And yes, he has a team. No, he's never done that. And so he really focused on listings and he accomplished it. One of the things that worked for him was social media posts, follow-up, emails, marketing. It wasn't just picking up the phone and letting somebody know something just listed or sold in their neighborhood. So on Mondays from 2 to 2:30, the region gives you a resource packet on the call. So you have access to a resource packet. And in the resource packet, it tells you what to do. And so I don't even see, okay, right here. So these are a couple of examples, which you can't really see really well on this, but when you go back and look at the slide deck, it's going to tell you what to post on social media on Monday. And on Tuesday, all you're doing is copying, pasting the email, putting it into, I don't care if you're using Command, I don't care if you're using AOL, I do, let's talk about that. But Gmail, Yahoo, if you're using something like that and that's where your database is, all you're doing is copy pasting. And don't change anything about it. And the results that they're tracking of the listings, we're tracking buyers too, but the listings that are coming from these calls for the agents that are on the calls is phenomenal. And it's people that were in their database that they didn't even know because they didn't reach out, or the right post got them to move, the senior conversation got them to move. So I really encourage you to be on the call to get the material. Now, what we noticed is some of you are not technology savvy, okay? I know how to do certain things because I have 3 boys and I'm always watching them and trying to catch up. But that doesn't mean that you're sitting at home and if I said, oh, you just screenshot it and change it and send it. Some of you might be like, I don't even know how to screenshot and I don't even know what that is. So what we realized is from 2:30 to 3 on Mondays, right after this call, we're going to actually have what we call the growth workshop with Ashley and Jamie. And we're going to show you how to do it. So you're going to hear about it for 30 minutes. And then for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be on Zoom and we are going to show you how to cut, copy, paste, how to go to your Command or your Gmail and send a mass email, or how to take it off your phone and put it onto Facebook. So that those of you who have been aggravated in the past, we want to be able to add the value so that you can get more listings. This is all about your money, your commission, and you getting more properties. So if there's anything that I can say, this one I'm going to promote a lot. This is a video from Brooke. So Brooke, who started with us a year and a half ago, is now the regional tech director. She's doing a phenomenal job. I'm not playing her video right now because technology is not my friend today, and I don't want to screw up this call. So I'm not going to play hers. Upcoming training. So many of you have said, you know, the best times is when agents are in the hallways talking about transactions, what's going on, the camaraderie inside the hallway. So we decided to create a series of If I Would Have Known What I Know Now. And so there'll be 3 to 4 people on a panel each month of experienced agents here in our market center. And every now and then I might feature a guest from a different market center. And it's just going to be like a round robin table talk. We're going to talk about, hey, here's a question. What's the craziest home inspection scenario that came up and how did you handle it? What is this? What is that? And based off of the experience, the things like, oh, this happened, but this is what I learned from it. From one colleague to another, we felt as though that maybe this might be a good way to mix all levels of agents, new, been in the industry a couple of years, 7 properties to 30 properties. So that's going to be coming up on Thursday, June 3rd. And we have a powerful woman panel on this one. So we do have Janet Faulkner from Faulkner Associates for commercial. We have Robin Renahan and we have Heidi. So they will be our first batch of If I Would Have Known. And then we will continue this each month. John Marin has graciously given his time as well. And we've talked about new construction and land. And so That's happening right now. John's worked on many developments and he's very knowledgeable in this area. And a lot of you have come to us because there is new construction happening. You want to learn more. And he'll be the first to tell you, commercial is a different beast than residential. And new construction is a nightmare. Okay, condos have their own problems, and then basic single families, then multifamilies. Like each category has something. When it comes to new construction, you can't know enough. And so I encourage you to come to these two classes. They will be Tuesday, May 25th. So that's next Tuesday at 11 a.m. And then the following Tuesday at 11 a.m. it will follow. And then last, we have something that I'm extremely excited about. So one of our agents who's sitting in the training room, Sarah. So Sarah is very passionate. She comes from a family of real estate agents. Okay, so both of her parents are in the industry, and so she's grown up with this environment. And she came to us and said, you know what would be really great? What if we had like a whole week of like all buyer stuff? And what if we had like a whole week of all seller stuff, from one experienced agent to everyone? And we just go start to finish of what everything looks like, from pre-approval to working with a buyer, what conversations, exclusive contracts, writing the offer, all the way through to closing. She's also going to have some guest speakers at this as well, so you can see. So I would save the date. It's from 12 to 2 all next week. And so we encourage all agents to be at that as well. And if it's successful, which I know it will be, then we'll run the sellers. And so we're really excited. And so if you don't know who Sarah is, let's test this. Listen, this is as raw as it gets. This is what it, this is as raw as it gets.
Hi everybody, my name is Sarah Petrozelli of the Homestead Collective at Keller Williams in Andover. I am popping up on your timeline here to tell you about a class that I'm going to be teaching in the Market Center from May 25th through May 28th from 12 to 2. This class is going to be an expert class on buying. So this is going to be buying 101. We're going to be spending 4 days.
No, I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it.
Talking about contracts, negotiations, lending.
But no, I didn't touch it. I pressed play and that came up. I think it's this one. We have.
Things that were very hard to get through, but thankfully I was able to. I'll also be sharing some of my failures so that you can learn from. Here's the 4 days outlined for you to see. I think it's going to be a blast, and that's May 25th through May 28th in the Market Center from 12 to 2. Don't miss out. It's going to be a good time.
Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Stop you. So I honestly just started thinking, I'm like, oh, look at this cute video. I'm like, some people might be saying, how do you make a video like that with words? That's a different class. That's not the buyer's class, right? That's a technology class that maybe we'll put on the calendar for all of you, but exactly. So that's Sarah. And so we're really excited to join this class, and we would love attendance for it. So we're going to move forward to some awards and things like that. And of course, our happy birthdays. We, as a leadership team, have decided to do something really fun starting now. Actually, starting Monday. We started Monday. So for birthdays, you will be getting a special treat from us 3 ladies on your birthday, and potentially like anniversaries and cappers. So we are going to be creating a fantastic capper wall here in the Market Center. So if you have been a capper in the past, you have history of receiving 100% of your commissions, we will be asking you to send us your most recent headshot, because we will be creating this beautiful wall of cappers. But happy birthday to everybody for the month of April. Wow, 2 pages.
Nope, that one's the anniversary.
How do I know? Oh, Whitney Houston sang an awesome song. Like, how do I know? I wouldn't know. Okay, so they're anniversaries. And so happy anniversary to everybody who joined the company in April, in whatever year you've joined. So I see some people on here that have been here a really long time. So over 10 years. Obviously, Susan, happy 21st, I think, because it's 21 years we've had this Market Center. So happy anniversary to everybody. May 3rd. Congratulations on your first closing, Luna, and I'm gonna actually go to these because I need numbers right now. So congratulations. Top profit share earner in the month of April was Miss Susan Rockford. Congratulations. And here we go. So it's in black. I can't read it. So top agent closed volume, congratulations to Marianne Alexander. And for time purposes, that would be approximately over 2 million. So imagine closing 2 million in volume. As you know, if you close 4.2, you're a capper at 2.5%. So congratulations to Marianne Alexander, who is a capper in our market center. Congratulations to the top team closed volume. So Linda, Brittany, congratulations, Hartnett Homes. That closed volume would be 1.7 million. So congratulations on closing 1.7 million. And top group closed volume, the DNA Realty Group at $5.1 million. So congratulations. Thank you, Brian. The interaction here is amazing. All right, so we're moving on. So congratulations to top individual closed units. So Marianne Alexander and Art Durkin, they had a tie at closing 4 units in the month of April. So congratulations. We also have top team closed units. That would be Brittany and Linda at Hartnett Homes. And so together, 2 units, congratulations, in the month of April. And top group closed units is the Loriano team. See, and you guys thought it was going to be DNA because it followed. See, volume and units. We'll have that conversation. This was 9 units. So the Loriano team closed 9 pieces of business in the month of April. So congratulations. We're almost there. Okay, $1 million listed. So if you want to know how they're getting listings, join the growth initiative or reach out to them individually. I believe that we learn from one another. I would never think that an agent here, if I knocked on someone's door, or I said, hey, what are you doing creatively right now to get business? Or what's working for you? Or are you doing mailers? Or, you know, is this repeat referral? Have the conversation, reach out to Jen, to Art, to Leo and Daisy, and just, I mean, to list $1 million is, imagine if you listed $1 million each month, you did the math on that, 12 million times the amount of 2.5% minus the 27,000. Stick with me, that's the finance group in June, but that's your commission. So congratulations on $1 million listed individual. Now, a couple of years ago, having it listed, I couldn't say congratulations to it being sold because we didn't know if it was going to get sold, but everything is selling right now, including if I sold my shed in my yard. So $1 million listed team, Susan Sells, congratulations for $1 million listed, their team, and $1 million sold, which is very important because that's where your commission comes from. Congratulations to Art Durkin, Marianne, Judy, and Cal Shetty. Congratulations on selling $1 million in the month of April. $1 million sold team, congratulations to Brittany and Linda. And congratulations to all the groups listed here for $1 million sold. So that's a lot of money. We love this. And to go back to what Mark said, you know, Mark talked about company dollar and how company dollar was up. What I did is I pulled a report, and here's what's interesting to me. We have a lot of awesome agents on our roster. We have a lot of new agents who have just joined in the last 6 months that are listing and closing, buyers and listings. But when I pull why we're up in percentage, the company dollar, we can only take 24,000 and you're receiving 100%. So I'm not receiving company dollar, let's just say, from the Marin Group if they're capped. I'm congratulating them. We show market share. He's making 100%, or the Marin Group's making 100%. That's fantastic. But imagine all the people that we have capped right now, and we're still up by that 32, 34% in company dollar, which means congratulations for our region, for the leadership staff, for you know, Sarah heard her when she was here, and moving forward, what we're doing here in the Market Center to help you guys get business. So I just want to say a big congratulations to all of you. Here are KW Realty success numbers in closed units. Thank you to Steve, he went over them. But if you're a visual person, here they are in a nice graph. Here is KW Realty success numbers for us specifically, April from last year to now. So this is fantastic to know. Guys, you could always take this slide and just change it for your business to keep track of your own business, to know your growth. Or you could go on to the associate trend reports in the MyKW and get your own associate trends. This will also be in the agent access drive. Okay, so many of you have been waiving inspections. Well, you haven't, let's back that up. Your buyers have decided to, awesome. Your buyers have decided to waive their inspection. And so some of you like to be very, 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 very compliant with explaining that, because remember, you never want it to come back to you where they're like, well, you know, what you said, Steve, is that if I did this, then I'd get the property, and like, now I'm screwed because the foundation. If you really want something extra, then you can pull this waiver of inspection form that Jillian said is now in DocuSign, and you can have your clients sign that as well. It just gives you an extra part of protection. So the training library, yay. So when we send you an email, most of you, it's through your KW email. So whatever we have on our roster is where this link is being approved. And you can only log in to that email when you're trying to get to the agent access drive. So for example, let's say that John Marin does not use his KW email, but he uses the Marin Group at gmail.com. If on my roster, I'm allowing him access to this agent drive to John Marin's KW, that's why he'll never be able to find it, because he doesn't really log into KW. He has his KW email forwarded to his Gmail, so he has everything in one portal. So I challenge you today, if you go into your Google Drive, and it's the 9 dots that are at the top right when you log into your Gmail, and you hit Google Drive, which is a triangle, and on the left, it will say Shared Drive. When you click Shared Drive, if you don't see all agent access, just send us an email. We'll send you a direct link. When you click this link, when you have access to this drive, that's where all the magic stuff that you guys keep asking us for. That's where this form is. That's where this form is. Here's all of your buyer forms, your seller forms. Here's your training library. And so Ashley has worked so hard on this training library where, so all of these squares will take you to a video for a training of a how-to. And we have broken it down by sheets. We have broken down technology. We have broken down trainings. We've broken down Mitchell's Lunch and Learns. We're breaking down Ignite. We're breaking down the KW Tech. We've marketing, command. So you should be able to find everything here. New agent, existing agent for 15 years here. And if you're frustrated, you should be able to watch a video quickly of how do I do it. So we're encouraging all of you to check it out. And thank you so much, because Ashley's been working her butt off on this. It wasn't easy, and I appreciate it. KW After Hours, back to fun, Brian. So Grill and Chill. Thank you, Ashley. You're invited to the Grill and Chill at KW Success Thursday, June 10th at 5 o'clock. So from 5 to 6:30, someone's flipping burgers. And I did that last year. And Steve did too, 2 years ago. So it's not going to be me. We will be having burgers and fries, beers, wine, water, soda. So come join us. Our first one, we had a grilled cheese truck. 50 of our agents showed up. It was awesome. I think it was great weather. You're getting COVID shots. You're feeling safer. We had our Cinco de Mayo, about 30 agents coming in and out, making tacos. We love it. If you have any creative ideas for our July outing, that would be great. But for June, to kick off the summer, join us. And so we're going to finish with happy selling. I'm going to ask people in here if there's anything that they would like to share, or if there's a need for their buyer, or they have a listing or a new development coming on. And then I'll go ahead into the chat, stop sharing my screen, and ask you guys if you need anything. So anybody in here have something that they want to share with everybody else? So Sarah has a listing coming. Methuen, 9 Heritage Lane. It's 3-bedroom, 3-bath colonial. Very nice neighborhood. And which school district? CGS. That must.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal in Methuen. Okay, it's a big deal. How much? How much?
As to be determined, I'm sorry. Me and the seller are having a disagreement on price.
Approximately, what's a good range? Okay, so between 5 and 5:50, and it should go live by first week of June. So it's an estate sale and it's vacant.
It's very dated, but it's very, very nice.
I wish we could do like, I could get up there and be like, okay, we're starting the bid at 200,000. What is that? Steve says he's gonna sell it. He's gonna sell it. Okay, so nobody else in here. Oh wait, John Marin, he's live now. Yes, John.
John and Vivian.
John and Vivian.
We're working together. We have listed an equine property in West Newbury.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this a little bit closer for John. Wait, so just speak up and say that again.
Vivian and I have listed an equine property and a gorgeous property in West Newbury. It'll be coming on the middle of June. It'll be $8.99. It's a lovely Cape home with paddocks and horsey stuff.
It has, you know, I was gonna ask you privately after, there's 3 words you use that I don't know, but now I'm putting it together. It's kind of like a horse land farm thing.
There are 8 acres. There's actually conservation land that floods the property. There's trails all over West Newbury. You can go around on horseback if you like. There's actually a riding club that rides very near from there out to a bunch of trails in the area. They have 8 run-in stalls and everything has full electricity and water. So if anybody has a buyer that's looking for a horsey property, let us know. It's a great location.
I definitely say put that one out to everybody because I feel like I just had this conversation, and it's probably not art, but if somebody just told me about their people are looking for something for horses. Yeah, I just heard it, or I could have read it on Facebook, but it wasn't you. Okay, so there's that. And let's see, I'm gonna go to the chat box. La, 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 la. Okay, and so Debbie Longo. Debbie said coming soon in Framingham, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath for June 1st for $549,900. Anyone else want to unmute themselves?
Yes, it's Michael.
I see. It says me, my house.
Me, my house.
I'm going. Okay.
This is the back of it. Beautiful deck and 3-season porch, incredible yard. I can't flip it around. 3/4 of an acre, 3 beds, 1.5 bath, gambrel style, colonial on Brown Street, 334 Brown Street. It's going on around 625, should be on tomorrow. And showings begin Friday evening, open Saturday, Sunday. Showings will go through the weekend and everything like that. But if anyone wants any more details or has a client that might be interested, it's on MLS right now.
Michael, where are you going?
I am renting. Have to take the advice I'm giving my clients. If you were going to sell in the next year or 2, do it now.
Seriously, I think my house would go for $850 on Tanglewood Lane. I'm gonna have to talk to John Marin about it. Michael, just to be clear, you live in Wakefield, correct?
Nope, Tewksbury. Sorry, 334
Tewksbury.
Brown Street in Tewksbury.
Tewksbury. Excellent. All right,
All
good
right.
luck. I'm sure you'll have no problems selling it.
Fingers crossed from your lips to God's ears.
I'm actually gonna pray for you that you find somewhere to go with animals and yourself as well.
Oh, I have it. Someone reached me to list their apartment, and they know my dog, and there we go.
Do you have any horses, Mike?
No.
John Marin, how many
No
horses?
horses, but you could run a few of them in my yard here.
Oh, God. Oh, all right. Anybody else on the call?
Is going to be, oh, I just lost everybody. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so one is going to be an amazing house, probably maybe the most expensive house that ever sold in Methuen, at least in the last 12 months, but it's an amazing house at Emerald Pines. The details are amazing. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. You really have to see it. The detail in this home, it's really impeccable. That will be coming on this week, somewhere between $875 and $899. Second thing that I have coming on is in Tewksbury, and that is at Stoneberry Estates, which is 30 condos, 55 and over. It's over 2,000 square feet. It's listed as a 2-bedroom, but it's really a 2-bedroom plus a den, or a 3-bedroom. Super nice community. And that will be coming on somewhere between 5 and 5.25. So if you have anybody that you'd like to encourage to downsize, and you can get somebody to me before it actually goes on the market, then we might be able to do something so you don't get involved in the craziness of the multiple offer situations. So anybody who wants to downsize, this is a perfect opportunity for them. Super nice community.
What town, Deb?
It's in Tewksbury.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, it's over
Thank you.
2,000 square feet. You have sort of your own exterior space, and it's a smaller community, only 30 units. Rarely do these come on the market. There's only one that's been on the market in the last 6 years.
Excellent. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You have something? Yes. Dual agent? So is it a flip property?
Yeah.
And
So it's only like
250?
Would you like one to grab it?
Congratulations. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording here, and everyone have a great day. Please join us for all the trainings and the fun things that we have coming up in the Market Center, and we will see you next month. Have an awesome rest of the week.